Hey, you wonderful weirdos. It's time for another comic book review with me, Pocan Joe. Welcome back. Let's dive into this week's comic books, and we're going to kick it off with Plastic Man. Oh, no more time. Oh, man. This is great. This is fun. I'm glad they're bringing him back. I'm glad that we're kind of keeping the lightheartedness of the characters, kind of being a joker, kind of maybe a little ADHD. But it's also great that we actually have a story that has some meaning and some heart behind it. Meaning, in this one, he gets hit with a death ray. And what the death ray did is it kind of breaks down his molecular structure, even though he's a one-celled organism, technically. Basically, it's breaking down the plastic bits in him and the rubber bits in him. Right? So he's slowly fading away. But we find out that this is a natural thing for him to do, which makes sense, because that's what happens to plastic and rubber. So it just sped up the process. Now, what we learned in this, and this is where the heart of the story comes in, Plastic Man has a son in this one who's a member of the Teen Titans, and apparently this could be something that could affect him either in the future or, if God forbid, he gets hit with one of these weird beams that villains are using. So now we have to make that connection, and we have to figure out not only is it finding a way of saving myself, but also to save that next generation. You tracking? That was good. I really liked that. I'm not really sure how a nuclear bomb going off can save him. That's the solution in this one. So much energy, because I don't know about that. But for the most part, I get it. The most complicated thing to do to save the most simplistic idea, right? That next generation. I like that. I thought it was smart. It's a great story. Love the lightheartedness in it, and when it hits hard. Right there in the old sucker feelings. Oof, it's deep. All right, moving on. Let's go with Absolute Power, number 3. So I went with this cover because, damn, that's a good-looking photo or a drawing or artwork right there. That is beautiful. What's really going on in this book? All right, so try to get this as quickly as I can. Nightwing's in charge of the Justice League right now. There was a plan, but they got attacked at the Fortress of Solitude. They broke away to Themyscira, Wonder Woman's homeland. And from there, you go through the plan that you originally came up with. All my veterans out there know this. What happens when you get hit with an ambush? You push through the ambush, and then you circle back around and you make pink mist. This is a sign of good leadership, that you can't be deterred. Another great sign of leadership in this is your willingness to make those decisions that are your commands and not change your mind. It's a great concept in here that Nightwing just shines in, and I absolutely love it. The question comes down to, if we had to kill Superboy, should we or should we not, right? Nightwing's no, he's one of us. Big Bartha, on the other hand, has a kryptonite bullet, and she's like, yeah, homie's going down. But the question is, with Queen Brainiac controlling Superboy, he's not in control. So is that deserving of the death? Interesting fact in this, by the way. Queen Brainiac is also being controlled by Amanda Waller, right? Being manipulated. So does the same rule apply with Superboy as it does for Queen Brainiac in this? She's being manipulated. She doesn't know the difference, or she doesn't know another perspective other than Amanda Waller's, who's out trying to kill or enslave all the superheroes and supervillains. Like, she's just had enough of everybody as they start taking control and break away from the government and become their own entity, right? Amanda Waller's like really stepping up her game in this one. And I like that. Good villainy going on here. Superheroes are doing the best that they can with what they have. Their powers have been taken away, so they got to resort to the old pew-pews. I'm okay with that. In the end, Superboy does get saved. Good on them, right? But sticking to that decision and pushing through the decision, even when it doesn't seem like it's the best decision, that's leadership 101 right there. Gotta push through it, right? The thing that you want's on the other side of the problem. I thought that was smart. I think this is ingenious writing. We get some new characters in this too, by the way. If you're looking for first appearance collectors out there, there's some in this as well. And a character that was introduced to us not too long ago is kind of becoming a focal point in this too, this kind of time thief guy. I think this is a solid read. I've really been enjoying Absolute Power, and I highly recommend it for everybody out there. Moving into Marvel. So we got Ultimates 4. I went with this special edition. I think we all know why I got this book. So, warning, there's going to be a little bit of a spoiler involved in this for possible MCU movies and things coming up, both with Robbie Downey Jr. being Doom and, of course, the Fantastic Four movie coming out. A couple of things I would probably, if you're one of those people that like to have a little value in their comic book collection, a couple of things I would probably be looking at right now before they skyrocket is the first mention of the Negative Zone, which would be Nihilus as well, the villain. I would probably be looking at, of course, Galactus, because we already know that. And I would be looking at the first appearance of the Maker as well, because of what happened in here. I'm kind of worried about giving the review of this book, because I could see this what they're doing. What they're doing is they're just culminating several stories from the Fantastic Four and their origin. It wasn't just a storm in the cosmic space. At one point, it was a planet that wanted to stay hidden that caused the storm, and then another time it was a dimensional thing with the Maker that ultimately made the Fantastic Four what they are. And in this one, they kind of culminated all those stories together to kind of bring them together. Oh, and I would probably be looking at the first appearance of Iron Lad as well, because that's heavily in here as well. But another dimension one. And the fact is, I just didn't like this story. I don't like this. It's extremely complicated to keep track of what's going on in this without it melting over and having a bunch of questions of why. And this book actually brings out those questions a lot, the whys. Like why this, why that. It doesn't really explain itself very well. And that's kind of the point of the story. I should add that, right? Add this kind of mystery and intrigue to it. So yeah, although that's not a review, that's kind of sort of what's happening in this book. Not much of an Ultimates fan myself, but I did get the 1 in 25 cover, so I have it. Next, Marvel Zombies, Dawn of Decay. So this is not Marvel Zombies. I'm just going to say it right now. Nothing that you had seen before. What happens in this is apparently Groot gets a cold. And it's an infectious cold, and when he sneezes or coughs into Captain America, it turned him into like this floral plant-based zombie. And then, of course, Captain America starts biting people, and then it spreads very, very quickly. And the ones that seem to be immune to it are, of course, the Hulk and Groot. And Groot has to get the Hulk to Avengers Tower to hopefully find a cure, given Bruce Banner can figure it out. That's it. That's the story here. No. All right, next. Conan, Battle of Blackstone. So I'm going to tell you right now, should we do it? We're going to do it. Pick of the week. Pew, pew. Pick of the week. So what happens in this? This is doing that thing that I really love where you kind of take these obscure characters that you only hear about every now and then, like John Conrad or Solomon Kane or Black Angus, these characters, and Conan as well. And you're kind of linking them all together with a past. So this takes place in the Hyperion Age, Conan's age, all the way up to about the 1930s, late 1930s, where exploring and finding artifacts was kind of a big deal, right? Explorers Club, the Wanderers Travels, things along those lines. So you kind of get that 1930s nostalgia, and you get your savagery from like the 1500s and even into Conan's age. And it is fascinating. This magical symbol that is just throughout time affecting people today, and these heroes that we like, using characters that I just don't feel we use enough of, or correctly in most cases. I really think this book is going to shine into it, and that's why it's my pick of the week. Next, Cruel Universe, number 2. I like this one. That's the last one. When I get an anthology of stories, I generally end up liking like 1 or 2 in there, and then I start wondering, is 1 or 2 stories really justifiable for the price, right? But this week, Cruel Universe really came on point. I'm very happy with my purchase this week. Great stories in it. One with a human meat farm. Cannibalism becomes a thing in the future, and how even the organic, it kind of poking fun at the whole organic side of things and the marketing behind it at the end of it. To a guy building a robot wife because his wife died, come find out she was cheating on him the whole time. Just great stories in this. A little sci-fi horror too for all you sci-fi fans out there. You get a little bit of everything in here, especially if you like various genres of horror stories, subgenres of horror stories. I enjoyed it, and it's quick wit with twist endings that just land, and it's great on it. So definitely good. Enjoyed it. Next, Scarlet. So as you know, I'm a extremely biased G.I. Joe fan, and I'm okay with that. But I did not. I don't know. I just really couldn't get behind this story today. It kind of let me down a little bit. Scarlet and Jinx have to go through this building to find a weapon. That's all we know about it. Storm Shadow's with them, along with some other Ninja Clan people. They find the weapon after miles and miles of dialogue in it that were just kind of reaffirming that Jinx and Scarlet, care about each other. It was kind of just weird. It didn't really fit in the story for them to be in a battle and then all of a sudden end up in a stairwell and having what I can only imagine would have been an hour-long conversation forever. And then going back up the floors to find this weapon. The weapon turns out to be the Sword of Life. And that's kind of awkward. Because you were expecting something bigger, right? Not just the Sword of Life, which has been used in the Snake Eyes Dead Game series. It was, the Sword of Life from that. And of course, Cobra wants this thing because it's an artifact, which I guess kind of falls in line with this whole belief that, back in World War II, the Ratsies were chasing down religious artifacts and stuff like that. There's like a whole lore behind it. I guess maybe that's what they're kind of going with on this. Doesn't matter. Storm Shadow has it now, and they're saying it's a game changer. Me personally, I'll take a laser rifle over a sword any day. Just throwing that out there. It's kind of let me down this week. So that's your comic book haul and review for this week. Definitely let me know what you picked up. Definitely want to know, what am I missing? What should I be reading? Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell when a new arc in a story happens, and that can change my entire amount of content here. So I would definitely like to know about that. And as always, don't forget, I sell my own brand of coffee. I'm going to lead you out with that today. So hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Hey, what's going on, folks? This is your boy Conan Joe to talk to you about Coffee Brand Coffee. We serve people that are tired of gimmicky advertising and branded companies that want to lecture you. At Coffee Brand Coffee, all we want to do is serve you freshly roasted coffee wherever you're at, whenever you want it. Consider Coffee Brand Coffee. Check us out, check our reviews out, and use promo code POCANJOE or the link down in the description to save yourself some money. Give me the opportunity to get you a delicious cup of coffee.